Hi, I'm Daisy Whitney reporting for Beat TV here at the OMA Video Conference in New York. I'm with Gordon Borrell, who is the president of Borrell Associates, a local media research firm. Now, I turn to Gordon for all of the information, stats, data, everything on what's happening in the local media business and specifically local TV. Give us some of your latest numbers in terms of advertising dollars that are coming into local television stations, specifically their online efforts and their video efforts.
Well, online for local broadcast TV stations was over $1 billion last year, just reached that point. This year we see about a 25% growth, but there's definitely a very large gap between those who are moving forward very fast and those who are pretty much at a standstill. The ones that are selling video are certainly doing much better. Video is a very fast-moving form of advertising. Certainly the small businesses are jumping on the video advertising on the web, and it's a great way for local broadcast stations to compete with the cable companies.
Do you know how much of the $1 billion is going specifically to video, or is that to all of their online website efforts?
It's a very small percentage. It's about 4 to 5%. 70% of television station websites currently are in banner advertising. So they're definitely selling a lot of banners on their websites, but they're seeing video advertising pick up in the short form video, but certainly in the long form video where these infomercials are really coming into play. We foresee that being maybe 200 to 300% growth for TV stations this year.
So who are some of the new advertisers that local TV stations are attracting in the video segment online?
Well, there's a lot in health. That's probably the largest category because that category tends to spend money on education, not on advertising, and that money tends to go in printing, not particularly newspapers, but in brochures. And video is a more exciting, long-form way of advertising their products by educating the consumers. We're also seeing it in automotive. There's some being spent there, and a lot in travel as well. So those are the three big categories for video for television stations.
Of course, the big question, though, is any of this enough to make up for what's being lost on air? Obviously, with what's happening with the automotive category as a whole, that has been probably 25% of on-air advertising at TV stations. Is this just a business that's going to keep contracting, or can the web eventually pick up the slack?
No. No. Certainly $1 billion in advertising in the scheme of things for TV, which is multi-billion dollar industry, is not going to really mean a drop in the bucket overall. Video is a small portion of that. So overall for TV stations right now, it's about a 3.5% share of their total gross revenues. That might grow to 5 or 7% this year for a lot of them because it's a down year for TV, but it's such a small drop in the bucket when it comes to their overall strategy and their overall intent to increase broadcast advertising. It's just not going to make up the difference.
Okay, final question for you. Any station groups or stations that you think are doing really innovative things with online video advertising?
Yes.
And can you name them?
We don't ordinarily name names, but I don't mind telling you that we've seen some great innovation in a lot of the groups. NBC Local Media is certainly at the forefront with some of the things that they're trying to do and trying to implement. We certainly see the BELO stations doing very well. A lot of the Raycom stations are doing well. Lynn certainly has a pretty good beat on things, you know, and I'm sure there are others that I'm leaving out of the equation, but there are quite a few that are moving forward very quickly and have seen some great double-digit growth in the past year, and they expect to see it again this year. Some individual stations in those groups I mentioned are going to do 200 to 300% growth in their internet revenues. They obviously see things very differently and are plowing resources into it.
Okay, and now this really is my last question, but what one piece of advice would you give to local TV stations who aren't yet that advanced in their online video advertising to get up to speed?
Invest. They really need to put some money into this. This isn't something they can do with their current staff. They can do it with some of their current resources in terms of the technology. It's pretty easy to buy the technology, and it's not that expensive. But they really need to invest in the salespeople and the management and the editing people to really get this out. They can't do it cheap. Everybody thinks they can do it with their existing staff, and if they do it with their existing staff, they're really not going to get that far. And they're also going to detract some resources from their current broadcast stations. Not a good thing to do in a tough year like this.
So invest in this economy. That's the words of wisdom from Gordon Borrell. Thank you.
Thank you.